back to Citizen Soldier. I'm Mike Veros and this is Greg Godwin. We're here to talk about shoulder throws and more combat type scenario, how do we get it, that type of thing. And a couple things come to mind right off the get-go when I think like a shoulder throw, a Seoi-nage in judo, is handles and having an out. Greg, based on your experience with the fighting and what have you, what kind of difficulties have you run into?
Well, with shoulder throws especially, if I don't have their kazushi or their balance and I come in and they push their hips forward and block me out, I got to have a second throw to go to or a way out to get out of that. Because they will stop the throw when they push their hips in.
Okay, that's perfect because that's exactly what I wanted to talk about today. I've run into the same problem. Not every throw can be perfect. You can only hope that that person's putting all his momentum into that punch or whatever you're spinning off to take the throw. It seems to work a little easier with when you're sparring because people are committed. But when you're playing just randori with judo throws only, it gets very difficult, and that out plan has to be there, or else either you're on your back getting choked, or you're stuffed, and then you're getting picked up and he's throwing you Uranagi over your shoulder type of thing. Okay, I'm going to start this one kind of like in a clinch. There's a lot of activity that happens in here, but a lot of times what you're doing is you're trying to swing for the power arm, which is usually the inside arm. Getting in here, you're going to be driving knees and elbows. But I'm not going to get into that a lot because we're talking about shoulder throws today and how to set them up and looking for handles. I like when they grab the back of my head. You see that back there? I like when they grab the back of my head because I like to tuck this in. But I also like to make sure I got some type of hand control because this also somewhat controls some of the knees coming up in here. He may be trying to swim, and I'm going to counter this and then usually end up with something like this. Okay? Now if he comes in for the inside, this is the perfect time to kind of switch out and take a shoulder throw. Because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab this, and as I turn, I rotate it into my chest, and I can clamp that down into my chest, and I can get a good position here for a shoulder throw. Note that his head is starting to go up over the top of his foot. Okay, so let's take a look at that. So I'm in here, and one even better is stuffing this hand into his waist as you turn up in so that you get his hand caught in between you and, so his hand is caught between my loin and his waistline. So I'm here, this clamps down, stuff it as I take my step in, okay, and complete the throw. So basically, again, what this looks like. Okay, again, the simple pin down to your chest as this hand comes up under. Okay, now, like Greg was talking about, having that out. Because we've all been there, we're going for a Seoi-nage, and we get this tremendous back pressure, we hit that wall, and he's going to try to take me back and lock me up. Bad things can happen. So what I like to do is once I get this arm in, I keep this position here, and what I do is I come out and go to a knee. So if I feel like I'm not going to get this throw right here, come out, go to a knee. Because why? Look what I have right here. Okay, I usually do a single leg pick and simple takedown. You can do a cross leg pick, depending on where his foot is. So I come up in, hit the wall. Oops, oh, he fell down that time. Yeah, that happens too. So come up in here, stretch. Now this leg, I can come across this way, push this way, and then I can kind of maneuver around a little bit more. Or you can take a back position and go into the throws that we did last week, which was the belly drop, or Tanya Toshi. Okay? So we come up in here, drop, an element, I'm locked up in, Tiny Toshi to the rear. Those are my outs. Okay, here's what I want you to watch on this. When I come out, head to shoulder, arm to chest. A lot of friction here. Okay, if you don't do this, it's not going to be there. And what you want to do is break his posture so that his head's down as far as possible. So when I come in, one, that's why I like to drop to this knee. Then I look for the leg kick. Sorry.
I didn't mean for you to fall. No, okay.
Okay, now some guys like to fall with this. They come up in, but see, I don't like being in between the legs. But for a judo technique, it could be good for a judo tournament. Get a coca out of it or something. All right, so again, 1, 2, okay? Best to drop to the knee so you get a good pull down. Hit. Uchi. Oops, sorry. Good defensive posture. Okay? Okay, I've had some questions that people ask me about, you know, because I'm dropping with that arm the way I am, you know, am I vulnerable for a knee strike down there? Well, if you look at this, when I come up in and then I pull this down and I drop, for him to be able to use that knee because of this position is very awkward. Okay, but I also have this hand in the right area where I can, if for some reason he is, you know, super Gumby or something, that I can get a check on that if need be. But a lot of times what you're doing, once you're in here, you're just kind of pushing forward and grabbing this right here. A lot of times you'll end up with it right here, but what you want to do is you want to avoid this right here. So keep it to the outside of the body. Okay? See, now you set up for the Uchi. Okay? Or you can turn this forward and throw the Uchi Mata. Seen that happen too. Done that. Okay, now that we talked about the Seanagi into a leg pick, let's do something for those wrestling fans out there that like to do the double leg takedowns and what have you. You can do that also off of this. You basically, what you're doing is when he's grabbing your neck in here, you're coming up in for your shoulder throw and you get stuffed. This time when you come out, you're going to pull this all the way through. Make sure you pull this all the way through, and what that does is that puts you right in here where he can't even defend against it because his arm's in between you and him. Okay? So then you're going to take a double. Sorry, I don't want to drive you. And you're just going to drive off your double. So you're coming up one, pull through, pull this arm all the way through, and that puts you right in for your double. So you just stick that leg in between, and you're going to drive up. Okay? Or pick it up. So you count in. 1, 2, 3. It's about as easy as I can get to do that there, right? Without putting stress on me. So, again, to recap, you got a simple leg pick. You got double leg takedown. Right there. You watch this from, you watch my arm, how I cut this in. 1. See this arm pulling across. Stepping in. Okay, driving the shoulder into the gut and lifting. Okay? All right. So, again, 2 things you got to worry about when you talk about shoulder throws. Okay? One is handle. Love this handle. Love this handle. Good for foot sweeps. It's great when you don't have the gi. Okay? Second thing is, you got to have that backup plan. Come out. Get ready. Alright? That way, develop that confidence, get those shoulder throws. Because, man, I'll tell you what, it's definitely a great bar trick. Kidding. But it takes a little bit of getting that skill, but it's well worth it, especially if you got a big man trying to get up on top of you. Nothing better than a good shoulder throw. One hit to the ground, a couple stomps on the head, and it's over, okay? So, again, I wouldn't do any of these techniques without having a certified instructor around. Safety first.